People of the internet, RetroRaconteur here, and today we are taking a deep dive look at the Ravenclaw Common Room. And like the others we have reviewed so far, there are so many little details here that fans are just going to absolutely love. Let's not waste any more time, let's dive straight in. And one thing that is immediately prominent here, and one thing that I really love about all the common rooms, is the colors. They are instantly familiar. I mean, the very first shot, the blues and the bronze, they really stand out here. And also the first thing that stands out about this common room is just how organized everything is. I mean, everything is ridiculously organized, which is in pretty stark contrast to the Gryffindor common room that we just reviewed. Also, you guys may notice I'm not doing as many transitions in this video. Some people in the last video said they didn't really like that. It actually made them feel a little queasy, so we're going to try and just keep it a little more simple here. So let me know if you guys like this method better. You won't see as many scene changes, but you will see me kind of clicking around, a little more organic experience here. So in the Slytherin common room, we talked about the dark stone. In the Gryffindor common room, we talked about the stone mixed in with the dark wood. Here in the Ravenclaw common room, everything is so much lighter. It's airy. Being in the tower like they are right here, and considering the fact that the mascot is an eagle, I mean, it just feels like the sky almost. And right here at the top of the screen, you can see there are some stars on the ceiling there. And then whereas Gryffindor just has rugs kind of all over the place, here we have Ravenclaw with just this one giant rug here, but it's nice and centered, everything's symmetrical, and you have some seating here, and then really the only kind of clutter in this room is all of the stacked books right here. So of course, you know, the Ravenclaws are going to have books stacked up. All right, after letting this same scene here play a little bit further in, we see a couple of new things have entered. We have the eagle here on top, and then how can we ignore the giant statue here of Rowena Ravenclaw? Again, that was one thing that I noticed that was very different about the Gryffindor common room, is that their founder was not featured anywhere that I could find in that scene, or scenes rather. Let's talk about the railing as well. I love this design here. It almost feels like the outside of like a palace garden or something. Then over here on the left side, we have this pedestal with the vase on top of it, I guess. And you can just tell that this was so well thought out. I mean, everything has its place here. We saw a harp very similar to this in the Slytherin common room, so it seems like the Ravenclaws have a harp here as well. A little teacup over here. I mean, of course the Ravenclaws are going to just sip their tea as they study. It really does just fit perfectly for this house. And now from this view here, we have an even better view of the ceiling so you can see those stars. Then we'll let it move forward to the next scene, and immediately we see another house banner here on the left side. Still trying to figure out why Gryffindor had so many of the Hogwarts house banners, whereas the other houses seem to be focusing primarily just on their own house. There was that one spot in Slytherin with what looks like a Ravenclaw crest, and I'm still not really sure why it was there. We do have a portrait over here on the right side as well. Ravenclaw has a few portraits, but not nearly as many as we saw from Gryffindor. They do have a little bust statue right here. And then over here on the left side, a telescope, which, I mean, in the tower to study the stars, to look out at the night sky, it makes a lot of sense. Now here on the right, we see a chest that looks very similar to the chest that we talked about in the Gryffindor common room. Clearly this is going to be interactable in-game for some kind of storage. We just don't really know what exactly yet. Is it going to be ingredients, like potion ingredients? Is it going to be things related to class? Is it going to be something related to the lost items? Is it going to be our clothing? Is it going to be all items? And I guess where I'm still confused is why we wouldn't be able to take certain items out into the field with us. We all know Hermione had that incredible epic bag in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, which seemingly had no bottom to it. She could store all kinds of things in there. So that would actually be a very nice mechanic for a video game to have. So it's interesting that they don't seem to be going with that, or maybe they do, I don't know, but it's like, well, what would be the reason then for having to come back to your common room to retrieve some sort of supplies? I guess it could be clothing. That's another possibility as well. And I'd love to hear what you guys think. What are we going to store in these little chests right here that are in multiple common rooms? Let me know in the comments below. Of course, more books here for the Ravenclaws. They gotta have lots and lots of books. A grandfather clock that looks very similar to the one that we saw in Gryffindor. And then on the left side, this is a big one right here, the Floo Flame, and a Floo Flame that is lit. Now, these have been confirmed as fast travel points for the game. We have seen them throughout the last few trailers, and it certainly makes a lot of sense to have them. I'm a little surprised that they put them inside the common room, though, because there is such a big emphasis in the books, and I mean, it seems like they're putting a big emphasis on the entrances as well. You know, there's only a specific way that you can get in. I wonder if they'll have some sort of in-game explanation or some in-game mechanism that would prevent players from traveling into this common room. I mean, obviously, from a gameplay perspective, all you have to do is, if you're playing another house and you're never able to enter the Ravenclaw Common Room, then you won't even have that Floo Flame unlocked, so it wouldn't make sense for you to have it unlocked. There'd be no way for you to travel there. But, as you're going to see here in a second when we take a look at the entrance, there are some Ravenclaws sitting outside the entrance, where it looks like they're struggling to think of the riddle, which fans of the series, of course, know. To get into the Ravenclaw Common Room, you have to answer a riddle. So Gryffindor and Slytherin are both passwords. Hufflepuff's involves tapping the brick to the tune of Helga Hufflepuff. But the Ravenclaw one, most challenging by far. But if they could just travel in by Floo Flame, then it's like, why are they sitting out there? I don't know, I get it. It's one of those things that's probably necessary to have for a game. You might need a quick way to get immediately back into the common room, but I still think it might have been better if they had just placed it somewhere right outside the common room. Now, we do know that the Floo Flames in the common rooms is something that is supported by canon. In fact, it was a really big deal in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix because remember, they had to get into Umbridge's office to use the Floo network. That was the one spot that she hadn't shut down. All the other ones were shut down. And that, of course, is how Harry had been communicating with Sirius through the Floo powder. So it was kind of like a way where you don't travel all the way through, but remember, Sirius's head appeared in the fireplace there. So having the Floo Flames in the common room is something that's part of canon. It'll kind of be interesting to see how they implement it here. We're going to zoom in here a little bit closer as the scene moves on. And over here on the left, we have more books on the bookshelf. A couple of magical artifacts maybe right here. I love this right here, a little spot for an umbrella, and then this just beautiful archway right here. I mean, everything about the Ravenclaw Common Room is absolutely beautiful. It's very proper, though. For me, personally, I already told you guys, I'm at home in Gryffindor. That is where I would want to hang out. I would feel that I could be really relaxed there. Here, I feel like I would need to be really sort of minding my manners at all times, you know, like you're at a really fine restaurant. You don't want to be too loud. That is the vibe that I get from here, which I guess for Ravenclaws, you guys are probably happy about that. You know, it'd be very quiet if you're trying to study here, because you know people are going to always be trying to study in the Ravenclaw Common Room. Makes perfect sense. And then let's talk about the little floor here. I love the transition from the stone into the hardwood. I mean, this is just gorgeous right here, this little area right here. And then we get another close look over here on the left side at the Ignatia Wildsmith, because she is the inventor of Floo powder. So that is the statue, or the bust, I guess, that we see right here, along with the green Floo flame. We'll shift it forward just a little bit more here, and man, I love this medallion right here, just featuring the Eagle of Ravenclaw. Yes, guys, the mascot of Ravenclaw is an eagle, not a raven. I still have some people who will occasionally pop in the comments and say, it's a raven, what are you talking about? I'm like, guys, no, actually, it's not. It's an eagle. Then you have the two knights here over on the right side. I think it would be hilarious if they are guarding the girls' dormitory. So if you try to go that way as a boy, you're just going to get blocked. Remember, on the Gryffindor side, if the boys tried to go up on the girls' side, it would just turn into a slope. So the stairs would immediately turn into a slide, so they would have no way of making it up. So my guess is that these right here are leading into the boys' and girls' dormitories. And then here, this next room would just be an incredible place to study. You have the fire right in the middle, all this light. I just love the windows and how much light is pouring into this room here. The ceiling is absolutely gorgeous. And then I wish we could get a closer look at this tapestry directly behind this, because I mean, it looks like wings right here on the left and right side. The white here on the left and then the white over here on the right. I mean, this is clearly wings. Is it just a giant eagle? We see another telescope over here on the left side, as well as another one of these, which they actually interact with going through the Gryffindor Common Room. And I gotta say, these large wingback chairs, they're similar to the Gryffindor ones. Colors are a little bit different, and I don't think they look quite as cushy, quite as comfortable. Moving forward a little bit more here, another bust statue that we can make out now over on the right side. And then right here, this is great. I think this looks to be someone who has been working on their art over here. It looks like a painting they've been working on. The books just piled up everywhere. Another desk here with lots of books on it. Another new scene here, and guess what? More books. You've got the really large bookshelf here, an hourglass right here, which would make sense, you know, if they're working on a project or working on potions and there are certain things that they need to time, having that hourglass nearby would be very handy. A little cauldron here on the left side, and over on the right, some sort of lockbox. This kind of looks similar to the one that we saw in Slytherin, maybe not exactly the same. And then here in the middle of the shot, another telescope. I really do want to know if these telescopes are going to be items we can interact with. I mean, imagine if you can use these to like look out on the Hogwarts grounds or to look out at the night sky. I mean, who knows? Maybe astronomy is actually going to be a class in this game and we'll need to utilize the telescopes for the class. But we have seen them now here in the Ravenclaw Common Room, and then I'm pretty sure we saw something that looked almost exactly like this in the Slytherin Common Room, but it was positioned where you could look out into the depths of the Black Lake. Then just to the left of this desk here, we have this trash can where you can see that somebody has just been like constantly trying to get something written and then just tossing it into the bin here. Also have some ink bottles and quills over here on the left. Again, this really does just look like it would be an amazing place to go and study, as you've got all that light pouring in there. You can look outside, get a view of the night sky, get a view of the Hogwarts grounds while you're studying. And then that scene actually moves a little bit forward so we can see more of this artwork here. It looks like someone has actually been working on a painting of the Hogwarts grounds here. And then a note right here tucked in behind this picture. Aren't you just dying to know what this note says? Probably just some boring homework, but still, I am so curious. I mean, boring homework in the Wizarding World would be pretty interesting to we Muggles, right? And now we move to one of my favorite parts, the entrance for Ravenclaw. So even outside of the Ravenclaw Common Room, you see they have books here. A couple of bookshelves kind of tucked away in these cabinets here. We also have to comment on the Ravenclaw robes here because they are incredible as well, looking so nice. These house robes, they did a phenomenal job. But I'm going to freeze it right here because I want you to look over here on the left side. We can see one student here in this view. There are actually two sitting on the bench right here. And so this is what I was talking about with the Floo Flame earlier. So I think what they're going for right here is that these two students can't get in. They're Ravenclaws, but they can't make it into the common room because they can't solve the riddle. So part of me is like, why don't they just take the Floo Flame? I mean, is this their first time actually going into the Ravenclaw Common Room? Maybe there's some sort of magic that works where you have to solve the riddle at least once a day so you can use the Floo Flame. I don't know. You could explain just about anything with the magic, right? Because as a little fun detail for fans, I love that they did this. It's just I keep thinking about that Floo Flame and it's throwing me off. But the fact that they have students, I mean, this was a thing from the book. You have students outside the common room struggling because they can't solve the riddle. And then as the character goes up, I'm going to let this one play because I think this animation, I don't think it's getting enough love, guys. I think that is a glorious animation. It just looks so good. Everybody's talking about the Slytherin one, and for good reason, because it's amazing. But I don't think this Ravenclaw Common Room entrance is getting enough love because that animation is so slick. It just looks so good as the eagle kind of folds its wings in, opens the door, and then as soon as it opens, you get another eagle waiting there, a large stone eagle, kind of like it's saying, well done, you know, well done for solving the riddle, well done for being accepted into Ravenclaw. Then we have the astrology patterns here on the ceiling. And the next shot is the very first scene we had, but from a different perspective. We're going to walk right by the Ravenclaw statue here on the right. It looks as if she is holding a wand here in the left hand and then a book in her right hand. And we've also seen this room before, but not quite from this angle. So you have the really large globe over here on the right side, the teacups, the teapots there on the table. Here we also get a much better view of the rug and the astrology patterns that you can see on that as well. And then just before they change scenes here, we do get a look at another portrait here on the left side. I believe we already saw this one on the right here. So they do have a couple of portraits throughout the Ravenclaw Common Room. Again, just not nearly as many as we see in the Gryffindor Common Room. All right, then in the transition to the next scene, we get another bulletin board here on the right. Also a bulletin board with the Chudley Cannons poster. We already talked all about that Chudley Cannons poster in our Gryffindor Common Room video breakdown. So if you missed that, you can check it out there. But long story short, some fans think that this could mean the game is going to last longer than one school year. I'm still not convinced. I don't think that's exactly what it's saying, but seeing yet another notice board like this does give me hope that we will have that old feature from the original Harry Potter games where you can retrieve lost items for fellow students. All right, let's talk about this next room here because, wow, the lighting, man. The lighting, and really in this entire common room, but especially in this spot right here, is amazing. Again, we have that same metal railing that we've seen earlier. Then we have this spiral staircase. Oh, I cannot wait to go up that spiral staircase, guys, and look out over Hogwarts. I mean, we know the Ravenclaw Tower is one of the highest points in Hogwarts. Astronomy Tower is going to be the tallest, but then you also have Gryffindor Tower, Ravenclaw Tower. They're pretty high up there as well. So this is going to make for just an incredible view. I mean, we got to be able to go up there, right? They wouldn't have put these stairs in if we can't go up there. So please, photo mode, it's got to be in the game because we are going to get some truly amazing shots. I really can't wait. People are so creative with the photo modes online. It's going to be incredible to see what people come up with. Then the camera moves forward a little bit more and they give us a look upward at that dome shape, the window shining through, and then you get an even better look at these metal eagles going all the way around right here. Also, I am trying to figure out what this thing is over here on the left. I mean, is this kind of like a birdhouse or something? What exactly is this? And I gotta say, this is the first spot where we actually see some overlapping rugs here, like the Gryffindor Common Room. Everything else that has been so nice and neat here, they're like, okay, we gotta have a few extra rugs here, so there is some overlap here and over here on the left side as well. In this common room, they show off yet another one of those interactions, again, using the same item, this sort of sphere. Whoa, this is crazy. I just noticed this as I was letting this play through in slow motion. The character actually whips out their wand. It looks like the wand is like tucked up in their shirt. Watch this, because right here they don't have a wand. And then all of a sudden, if I move it forward, look, now they got a wand. And they kind of like lightly sort of toss their wand in the direction of the spherical object over here, getting it to spin. So I don't remember if they had a wand in the Gryffindor Common Room or not when they spun that. I'm going to have to go back and look at that. I thought it was just a hand. Yeah, let's watch it play in slow motion here, and you'll see the character right there. They pull out the wand, give it a little shake, and the object spins. I think we should call all of these little individual desk areas and like individual bookshelf areas, like call these study nooks here. Some nice little study nooks for the Ravenclaws here throughout the common room. Couple of more portraits over here on the right, and you guessed it, more books. Then we're back in this room here, and they give us another tease. Such a tease right here of being able to see the bottom of the eagle, but I want to see this whole thing because, man, it is going to look incredible when we can see that entire eagle on that back tapestry. But how about the ceiling right here? Just absolutely gorgeous. If you missed my breakdown of Gryffindor, I'm going to put that video on the left side of your screen now, and Hufflepuff will be up next. Once that one's done, it'll be on the right side of your screen. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.